Hey everybody, I'm meteorologist Matt Zaffino, and you know what? This is our first edition of our Powcast for the upcoming season 2024-2025. It's going to be a good one, and I'll explain why that is the case. But you know, nothing gets you stoked for skiing like skiing. So we're up here on a lazy, hazy, warm summer day on Mount Hood, and it looks pretty good up there actually. The turns have been pretty good. So we're going to be talking about La Niña and why you should be stoked for La Niña and this winter that's coming on, just like these guys that are stoked about skiing for La Niña. See, these guys are totally stoked for La Niña skiing. So what is La Niña? Why does it impact us, and why should you care about what's happening in the tropical Pacific Ocean and how that's going to impact how much powder you get this winter and whether or not you should buy a season's pass? So let's dig into it. So La Niña is a change in where the cool water in the tropical Pacific is. When we get that cool water really getting colder than normal and then pushing farther west than normal, that's a La Niña. And that changes the jet stream configuration, which usually bodes really well for the Northwest. Lots of storms, lots of cold storms, and lots of snow. You can see on the graphic here what I'm talking about with the jet stream configuration making its way into the Northwest, but also bringing us lots and lots of moisture. So what do we have right now? We have a developing La Niña. See all the blue right there? That's the cold water pushing west, and we expect that to increase during fall and winter and bring us a good, hearty La Niña season. So to forecast, what we do is we look at other La Niña years and see how those worked out. We call those analog years. And what I did is I picked 3 seasons that looked a lot like how I think this one is going to shape up. So first of all, we're coming off a strong El Nino. That was one of the things I looked at. And then before that, we had back-to-back La Niña. So I looked at other years in the past that had a similar setup, and those years were 1973-74, 1988-89, and 2010-2011. So we're going to look at those. The real cherry is 73-74. Amazing snowfall there, which I'll get into in just a second. But let's look at the snowpack for all of these years, starting with 88-89. I mean, you can see it's above average pretty much all year long. We're looking at meadows, and it was a great season. Couple dips mid-season, but still solid snowpack. Same thing, 2010-2011. Timberline, great snowpack there. The real cherry, though, was that 73-74 year. We started strong. In fact, it was the snowiest November we've ever had, and it stayed that way right on through, as you can see from the graph, above the average line pretty much the whole way through. So let's dig in a little bit deeper, and I'm going to use government camp for that. And I know you're probably thinking, I don't ski at government camp, but it's a great source of data because it's low elevation. So if it's good there, it's good everywhere else. And we get daily snowfall records there. So what I looked at were days at government camp each month during these La Niña years that had at least 4 inches of new snow. And then I averaged them all too. But let's just look at 73-74 because it was such a great year. And if this year ends up anything like that, everybody is going to be stoked. Look at November. We had 125 inches of snow. That's the snowiest month ever that they had at government camp. And several days, what I call powder days, 4 inches or more. And if you're getting 4 inches at government camp, you're getting way more than that at Timberline, Meadows, Bachelor, all around the Northwest. And it's just continued for December, January, February, March. It was an amazing year, record snowpack at Timberline during that year. So that's the daily breakdown of that. So what do I think this year is going to shape up to be? Well, I think it's going to get off to a really strong start. So really good days in November, early December. There's going to be a lull at some point, but I wouldn't worry about it because it's going to pick up again as we go deeper into the year. Lots of cold storms, and I think everybody's going to have big smiles from powder days throughout the season. Now, I know I've been talking about Mount Hood, government camp, Timberline, Meadows, because that's where I get the data from, but this applies really region-wide to the entire Northwest. We're going to do way better than other parts of the country as we typically do during a La Niña year. So if you're skiing at Mount Bachelor or maybe Mount Baker, up at Schweitzer, over at Anthony Lakes, everybody in the Northwest should have a killer season. We'll update this Powcast for you as we get closer to ski season and during ski season. But for now on Mount Hood, I'm Matt Zaffino.